So we ready to go,
They were
Jim?
looking for.
Okay. I will call the October 12th, 2022 meeting of the School Building Committee to order at 5:31 PM. And I will say for the record that I see Dave Sawyer, Jason Parento, Jackie Romanicki, Jerry Freecott, Terry DeSisto, Ed Stanton, Mark Furtado, Jeremy Gay, Rob Geddes, and myself, and that, oh, and Scott Domenici, who snuck in
Snuck in here.
snuck in the side door, came in through the bathroom window.
I've been here for like 5 minutes.
So, we have a quorum. Excellent. So, we don't have to have roll call votes, that's another good thing. I think the September 14th minutes were sent out. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, then, I think probably we should acknowledge that Skanska is here virtually. Hi, Skanska. And I know that Andrew had wanted to appear virtually, but I guess we didn't arrange for that. So,
Yeah, he's not here.
all right, then, Steve,
Yes.
is it you or Rachel tonight?
Oh, apparently it's gonna be me.
Oh, I don't know. Yes.
I'll do it.
Right, you know, you don't have to fight, you can both participate.
The construction update, yes. Let me bring my screen back to this. Sorry, skin's good. Okay. So, starting in the back here, because the front is substantially complete. We finished
You're gonna
loaming.
need to keep your voice up because the hundreds at home need to be able to hear you.
Okay.
And the acoustics are not so great yet in this room.
Sure, okay.
And here's Kate.
So, on the south side of the site, is that good? Volume check? Okay. We finished grading out kind of the north of the stadium here. We are also finishing up the bus loop, so putting in the final curving around the interior of the bus loop and kind of working our way as we demo the building. We're also wrapping up the infiltration system that's underneath this parking lot to make way to get ready for the PV structure that's going to be starting next week.
I understand those panels are all on site.
They're all done being stored at Highland.
Yep.
Yep. Demo and abatement, so we are officially done with the traditional abatement and just working on the special work plan. And then demo will probably be going into mid-November to late November for demo. But we are also working on connecting the sewer line that runs here. We connected the roof drain so that we can start doing the flat drain under the playground and start that work. So we're getting a manual, where's our landscaping subcontractor out here so that they can put in the foundation posts for all the playground equipment. So they should be starting up towards the end of next week. And then we also have the maintenance edition, which you can't see from this angle. Let me see if I can get a better one here. The foundation for the maintenance addition was poured yesterday, so we're stripping those walls and we are working on, next will be the CMU masonry, and also getting the slab on grade prepped and ready.
Also known as Jason's Christmas present.
Very exciting.
And no surprises on the demo.
No surprises for the underground on the demo, nope, even under the automotive shop, so that was a great sign.
Jack, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we confirm there is nothing left in the old building that should not be there? We had a lot of items that we were giving up for dispensation, and I had been contacted by a few folks that concerned that they saw stuff during the demo, because everyone's watching, that they thought there were things in there that might not have, or should not have been in there at the time of demolition. So I just want to make sure that...
You're talking about furniture?
Furniture or tables or things of that nature. So I just want to make sure that we don't have anything left in there that shouldn't be in there.
Who's the best person to answer that question? Is it Steve?
I mean, I can tell you that we want
went through it with Jason several times, and everything that was labeled to leave left.
Okay,
And everything that remained is getting demoed and thrown away. So.
So there
I
may have
think we're
been some
clean.
three-legged tables.
Yeah.
There may have been some two-legged tables, things that were just not salvageable, correct?
100%, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I mean, we get contacted, and so I'm like, well, I'm gonna find.
From 300 yards away, yeah, it looks like it's in
I didn't know if
great
we were doing it as we went, so we're at this section of the building now, let's make sure it's clear, and we go, or if everything's anything that's out might be claimed, or, I don't know, dispensed, has been done so, and anything left in there was stuff that we all
Junk.
agreed shouldn't
Yes.
leave.
Yes. That's a
Okay.
good way to put it, yes.
And I think we're going to hear a little bit later that we're at the end of the moving company's contract and the move manager, correct?
Correct.
So.
Okay.
Those funds have already been expended.
Yeah, I wasn't,
And Gail has shown up, so we'll add that to the record.
It was announced to the world.
Jack, just as a,
And so the maintenance addition is still on track for late December, Rachel?
Rob
Yes.
has a question.
Oh, Rob had a question.
yeah, sorry, just to follow up, because just as I pulled up for tonight's meeting, like, you can see stacks of furniture that are, like, have been moved into one room.
Yep.
When I saw it, I was surprised, but it's pretty much that's furniture that's not being kept by the district. It's not.
Correct.
It's just been moved over so that it can be pulled out before that part gets demoed.
Yep.
So it's just to relate to what people are probably seeing and asking about. That's
Right.
what's actually
Yeah,
happening.
and that's what I'm saying, like, from the street, sure, it looks like it's a great chair, but you get close and, like Scott said, it's got 3 legs, or it's broken, or.
100 yards away, something can look pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
And someone had card Geddes was here or whatever.
Robert, did that? No.
That would have already been taken out, don't worry. That evidence was destroyed.
So then, Rachel, I was asking, the maintenance addition is still on track for the end of December?
Yes,
And the demo is now probably mid-November?
yes, yeah.
But the bus loop and the parking lot is still on track for Thanksgiving?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the gray strip is the permanent bus path, bus route. That's the start of it. That's the base course of soil that's under all the paving. So you'll see it gray first, and then it'll be black.
And then just to remind everybody, if I remember correctly, the demo will continue at the far back in this picture and will work its way out towards the street.
Yes, yep. So they're kind of like a horseshoe. They're working their way around the end and then coming back up to Rathbun-Willer. Like Rachel said, the abatement inside is done, all the way up. The non-traditional work plan is the exterior mastic on the outside of the building. So that takes a little care. That's why the demo is going to stretch into end of November.
Okay.
But, I mean, I think we had December, so we're still in good shape.
And the playground, what's the schedule on that?
We're trying to get everything, there's some concrete in there as well that we're trying to get done before it gets cold. The playground surface also has minimum temperature requirements, so we're trying to get that done. We're trying to have that done. The short answer is by the end of November as well. We might have to heat like we do with concrete, put blankets and the like, but that's the goal.
Okay. And then if I understand correctly from this morning's meeting, the planting season ends in a week? So there are some,
Yep.
you're doing as much as you can, but
Yes.
there will be stuff that waits till the spring, correct?
Yeah, which was, again, always the plan as well, that we'd have spring and maybe even potentially some fall planting next year as well. But everything that can be planted will be, and we'll have one more blast of hydro seed everywhere, basically, that you see that's brown loam. So a lot of it on the backside, and that strip right there, they cleaned up yesterday and today. So they'll hit all that when they hydroseed.
And the port-in-place surfacing in the playground off the pre-K, that's also waiting till the spring.
No, we're gonna try and get that.
Oh, yeah?
That's what I was
Okay.
talking about. We're looking into if we have to use blankets or
Blankets.
heat it, or
Okay?
if we get a
Okay,
good stretch of weather.
Yeah, it's 40
Then
degrees,
on the
that's
interior of the
problem.
building, you're still working on punch list?
Correct, we have a punch list, which we're down to about 300 items left, and then we have some commissioning items like lighting control. It's basically the biggest one that's happening inside the building.
And then if I remember right, there are still things that are on back order that have to come in?
Correct, mostly AV equipment, and then there's a couple of CTE pieces of equipment that we're still waiting on, like the pottery wheels. We got the plasma cutter this week, which was great. There's still a couple other pieces of equipment.
Jeremy was just showing me before the meeting some of the new equipment that came in. Jeremy, do you want to describe for everybody what's new and exciting?
Lots. In the metal fabrication shop, in the last week, we received the metal lathe. I think that was actually ahead of schedule. The plasma cutting table was delivered and installed last week, the week before, so that was ahead of schedule. There was another large piece of equipment. Not sure what it is, but it's really nice looking. It's 18 programs, a lot of equipment. But it was one of the things also that was well ahead of schedule, so that's just in one department. So everything's starting to arrive, and a lot of the furniture for the early education and care program came in the last few weeks as well, and the booths for the bistro. So we're getting a lot of deliveries on a daily basis.
And the bistro may be open to the public when?
We're shooting for next week. We're gonna try. We're doing a soft opening for staff tomorrow and Friday, and, we'll see how that goes, and we're hoping for next week. If we do, it'll be out on Facebook and everything like that, so.
So don't show up expecting lunch unless you see on Facebook that it's open.
You can show up, but you're not gonna get lunch, and you may have to go to the servery, but yeah, so. And it's a cash-only business for the meantime until we get our new credit card machines.
That's all exciting. As I was saying to people before the meeting started, I think the open house was just an enormous success. I don't know how many people came through the building, but it seemed like a very large number. And I think they were all impressed with the building, and that started them asking questions like things like, when can I go to the bistro for lunch, and other questions about, community use of the building. I think the short answer is right now is that stuff is still being delivered. We're still learning how to live in the building. We're still getting everything up and running. So some of those things may not occur for a little bit of time, but the building, I think, just impresses everybody who gets in here. And that's a tribute to the teamwork, and especially the really hard work that occurred over the course of June, July, and August to somehow or other get this building open. And we appreciate everybody who had a hand in that. So are there any other questions on the construction update? Good. Steve or Rachel, who wants to talk about numbers?
I'll talk numbers. We have change order, we are seeking approval, it's GCO 25. There are 7 CRs associated with it. GCR 162, existing CTE equipment coordination, so there were 3 pieces of equipment that were originally going to be moved over from the existing school, but we purchased new instead, and then we also did some electrical and HVAC work for future equipment. That was $124,607.67. GCR 170, relocate tall cabinets, that's those guys right there, $6,214.10. GCR 171, added data for double ACS in this room. There's 3 data jacks that were added, $1,706.58. GCR 172, power to dryer exhaust fans. So there was a controller with each fan that needed its own outlet, and that was not originally shown or owned by the electrical contractor, so that was $6,334.86. GCR 173, added fire alarm at overhead doors. So these are the overhead doors between the carpentry shop and the stage. That's considered a firewall there, so those need to close if there is a fire. That was $4,093.36. GCR 174, miscellaneous grading revisions. So a lot of work on the south portion in the plaza. There was some grading that was revised and some sidewalks and some grading over the curbing on the south side of the shops around automotive. $24,542.24. And then GCR 176, miscellaneous owner changes. We added some data drops and some shades in David's conference room, I believe, and then a closer and some additional hardware in a couple of different offices. $2,493.14. Grand total GCO 25 is $169,991.95. And as always, these were fully vetted by Skanska, KBA, and any consultant that was required.
And none of these are new, they've all been on the list, correct?
I believe they were all on the list last month.
Any questions?
Where did those cabinets come from, Steve?
Rach, do you remember, it was
Yeah, they came from the
different-
house offices
Yeah.
upstairs on the second floor
$6,000 to move them down here?
and patched the
Yeah.
flooring and paint.
Yeah, there's patching involved as well.
And we also moved the coat hook that was on that wall and patched that and painted that. And we have to move them again.
I was gonna say, I thought they were,
They're gonna
Yeah,
get
they're
moved
getting
again,
out of
so
here.
no way.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move to approve, second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything new that's been added to the logs, Steve?
Yep, two change requests. One is additional lighting at the back of the school, between the school and the football field. Everyone noticed that it's pretty dark there, and that's well-traveled now. So KBA put out a PR to add some lights right where Rachel's cursor is there along that walkway to shine basically on the walkway and that patch of grass, what will be grass there. So we're pricing that up with the subcontractor right now. And then GCR 181 added 2 coffee grinders, one in culinary and one in the bistro. That is roughly $6,000, and the lighting we're thinking is roughly $27,000, but we don't have final numbers yet on either one of those.
Is there electric out there? Bring it out there.
There is. We're trying to negotiate so we don't have to go under that walkway, so we're playing with the location and working with KBA on the least expensive way to get the conduit there.
So are we gonna put up some light poles or something?
Yep. Light poles similar to parking lot. I think they're shorter though, right?
Yeah. Isn't there a retention system under that?
There is.
There is.
It's right around here, Joe.
Yeah, we're trying to
Not as
hug.
close to the sidewalk
Keep
over
up the
here.
retention.
Yeah, we don't want to go through that.
So-
Okay,
Sorry, just a quick follow-up. Was there originally lighting planned closer to the stadium to light that area? Or that just hasn't been installed yet because that's still temporary for? Because I know there were still some construction vehicles using.
No, there's just the lights, the existing lights that shine
Along the
on the
sidewalk.
stadium.
Okay,
They look like the lanterns. Those guys are there
okay,
already.
thank you.
yeah, so it's not just for football games or soccer games, it's also because, as I understand it, the kids, especially as the winter time comes, they're going to the stadium and back. It's fairly dark out there.
Yeah, I think, because that's the locker room entrance right there, so kids coming in and out of the locker room.
Any questions?
My question is, what's that noise?
Excuse me?
I said, my question is, what is that noise?
Sounds like somebody's battery is dying over here somewhere.
Oh, it's the, all right. That's concerning.
As long as it's not the fire alarm.
Okay.
Okay, contingency transfers, Steve.
Yep, there's one we are seeking approval of, GCT 072, reset existing pavers at the stadium entrance. This was scoped, it just wasn't owned originally by anyone, so our landscaper did that work for us. It is $11,164.98.
Can you show us where that was, Rich?
At the entrance to the, yeah.
Talking about that, the added pavers, Steve?
Right at the existing, the gate to get into the, right, yeah. Oop,
Oh,
Right
the
up,
added sidewalk.
no, up, kind of just to, right, yeah, oh, sorry. This is a fun game.
By the ticket booth.
Yeah, right about by the ticket booth, yeah, Rach, right where your cursor is.
Sorry. Oh, the, yeah.
Yep.
Right in there, and they added a black border to kind of match the other black borders everywhere else in the plaza.
Okay. Back area is really taking shape, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the obnoxious orange snow fence and cones are going away, which helps. The more we get done, the less temp orange is needed, so it actually looks nice now.
Okay, so you're looking for approval of that?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, did we already do
No other new contingency transfers.
Good.
Jack, I just had, I meant to, I didn't get my hand up quick enough. I just wanted to confirm, like, as far as like our maintenance schedule goes for the rest of this calendar year, we are still on track for all of that. Like, we talked about everything we've done. We're still on track. We have some milestones coming up in the next month or so.
Yep.
That'll alleviate some traffic and parking, that's all still
Yeah,
on.
the big
on
milestone
schedule.
for us is to get the permanent bus loop in.
Okay,
And that was the gray
Yep.
area there, that's on track, yes, it'll be, Thanksgiving.
I just like to stay truthful when I tell people to be patient and,
Yes.
it's coming. And that, I've given them those dates and I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure I'm still on target with those. Thank you.
And just so everyone watching us remembers, Steve, we're going to then be not having the entrance from Bushy and not
Correct.
having the parking lot that's back there.
Right, so once we get the permanent bus loop installed and basically everywhere that looks brown in that picture becomes a parking lot. So you got the road back to the bus loop and then parking. And then once that's complete and we're sufficiently complete with demo of the existing school and up close to Rathman Willard, we'll actually take our fence in the back in the Bushy lot and take the entire Bushy lot. So no one will be coming from Bushy Street. They won't be able to enter the school at all. Everybody will come from Rathman Willard to the back of the school.
They can come up the new north-south connector, or they
Yes.
can come in the traditional ways, but they won't be going through the neighborhood anymore.
Correct.
And a lot of questions have been asked, especially at the city council, about the number of parking spaces. And I want to thank you for providing some graphics that I was able
Yep.
to give to the council. But we will still maintain our parking ratio of around 570 or so, and we won't get up to 700 until when?
Probably this time next year.
Because there is a parking lot that needs to be constructed down at the back
Kind of where
end.
the existing school is, towards the back. There's a
Where the
skinny
new
one.
tennis courts will
Yep.
be in that area, correct, Steve?
Yes, back by the tennis courts, yep. The new tennis courts.
So that will all be taking place back there.
Yes.
So eventually, we will exceed the number of current parking spaces, but at no time will we have less than the number that we had at the old school and less than the number that was required by the zoning board's permit for this project.
Correct.
Okay. Next, it says change log update, but we may have already done that, right?
We did.
And next, we come to retainage reduction. So are you asking to reduce your retainage?
Portion of it, yes. So retainage is currently being held on our general conditions, general requirements, and fee to the tune of roughly 800,000, so reducing it from 5 to 2.5%. There'd still be 400,000 held on those line items, plus we still have 1.8 to bill against all those line items as well.
And so that brings us to Mary Ann and Anjanette. Have you vetted this retainage reduction?
Yes, we have. We reviewed it with the design team. We were in our change order meeting today. We looked at the cash flow, how that related to what we had provided to the city. Everything is falling within the expectation of money in, money out, so to speak. And it's pretty standard practice here to reduce the retainage at this point. We make the recommendation to do it.
Anjanette, was this in the cash flow you provided me on Tuesday?
I did not hear the question.
Was this in the cash flow that was provided to Jeremy on Tuesday?
Anjanette?
I'm sorry, I missed it. Was it in the cash flow provided to Jeremy on Tuesday? Is that what the question was?
Yes.
No, it was not. It was not in the cash flow on Tuesday. We will update the cash flow values. I'm sorry, I can't see who asked the question. Was that Jeremy?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so Steve and I are working on updating the cash flow as discussed with Deb, Laura, and you during the meeting with the MSBA on Tuesday. And so that'll be reflected in there. We still fall within the projections, even with that $400,000.
All right, thank you.
Just a further comment here that the approval tonight does not mean that it's invoiced tonight. It means it will be invoiced in the following month's requisition, and then that payment will follow. So, it's something where payment is not due until sometime in December. Does that sound right? Yeah.
That's correct.
Is that helpful, Jeremy?
Yeah, it doesn't make much difference to me whether it's now or December. But yeah, thank you. As long as we get the updated cash flow with that included, then we're good. Thank you.
Right. And I'm working on that. You should have that. I'll get it to you by next week.
Yeah.
Because I want to update the owners, a lot of the owners' invoices we carried more money early on, and so I just want to make sure that we're where we should be. How's that?
Yeah.
And Jeremy, this is within the projections that we've been providing. Yep. They're already kicking that right along.
Yes.
So there's no surprises here, just so you know that.
Thank you.
And it is normal when you reach substantial completion to reduce the retainage, so there's nothing surprising to me about hearing this. So I assume we haven't monetized the punch list, we're just going with the straight 2.5%.
We haven't monetized the punch list, we haven't published it. We're well under that value. So we have no trouble releasing that retainage.
Right, and this is just Consigli's retainage.
Correct.
This doesn't affect any of the subcontractors, correct?
Correct.
And it doesn't affect obviously any work yet to come. This is only for work that's been billed to date.
So the work of completing the demo, completing the bus loop, completing the maintenance addition, completing the fields, all of that is outside of this, Joe?
Yeah, it'll be still 5%.
Right.
And that's still 5%?
Correct.
Okay. I feel comfortable. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll take this one.
Okay, I was just going to say, Steve, that you and Rachel, this will be your Christmas bonus, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
I was thinking the same thing.
So next item on the agenda is relating to the move management contract and also the FF&E issues. So Jeremy, please.
Yeah, so we had some additional ads. We had a not-to-exceed amount for furniture, fixtures, and equipment, which was an estimate, like much of this was. We had some additional ads there, which we knew we were going to be able to fund through a decrease and a cost savings through the move management contract. And now that those savings are being realized, we are able to reduce that purchase order and reduce that not to exceed, and then add that money to the furniture, fixture, equipment. But before I can make that transfer, because you all voted on a not to exceed amount of 3.671 million, I'm asking for a revised not to exceed amount on furniture, fixtures, equipment of 3.711 million. Which corresponds directly to the $40,000 decrease in the STV not to exceed down to $178,190. So it's not an additional cost, it's moving from one not to exceed budget to another.
Everybody understand? Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. It does bring up one thing that I probably should have asked maybe Jeremy, maybe others about, but we got some substantial grants for some of the equipment that you were talking about being installed. And just so the public understands, it was Kate or Jeremy or whoever, but Mark, I'm not sure who would be best to take that, but I think we ought to remind the public the great job that we did in getting grant writing done here.
It was almost $900,000.
Wow.
And so some of this equipment that you were just describing that sounds fairly sophisticated and really adds to the educational value, that's part of that $900,000 grant, correct?
Yep.
And so in the end, we all paid for it, but it came out of state pockets or federal pockets rather than Attleboro residents entirely, right?
Correct.
Is that Perkins?
Capital skills.
So that was just outstanding that we were able to get $900,000 worth of equipment through grants. Jeremy, you've also told me, and maybe we can repeat it for the public, but we've had various inspections and the inspectors were pleased, correct?
Yeah, we had our initial DESI safety inspection on August 1st and 2nd of this year when the building was still in the heap of construction. And it was even at that point, it was very positive. They came for a follow-up visitation on Friday, September 23rd. And there can always be a sense of anxiousness with dealing with DESI because you never know what they're going to find. I've been, working with them for 28 years, and it's still often a mystery as to what they're going to find. But we went through all the CT areas. There was people from Consigli and Skanska, and people from the high school, and they were just completely blown away by this facility. And the reoccurring theme was, we did it right. And they are just astounded by the size of these programs, the amount of equipment in these programs, the quality of equipment in these programs, and their punch list, if you will, of things that we have to rectify was probably, I was expecting sometimes dozens, maybe 100. I think it was 7 issues that we have to go back and rectify, and they're minimal. They're truly minimal. So it was a very positive endeavor, and it doesn't require a follow-up visit. So we are good to go.
That's excellent news. I was going to call on Anjanette next, but may have technical difficulties, so Rachel's fixing that. So in the meantime, I guess I'll call on Kate and say, Kate, do you have anything that you want to update the committee on?
I think that we're settling into the building. I see that the students and the teachers are, they've really formed new routines and traffic patterns both in and outside of the building. I do want to, say to Jeremy, what a great job with the visit and all the work that was done with CTE. There was a real, not only a positivity, but an energy from the group that came to visit, and it was exciting to see how impressed they were with what was going on, not only with the building itself, but what was going on within the building. So we still have things that we're working on, some growing pains, but we're definitely heading in the right direction.
Good.
It's an amazing
I've seen a number
building.
of pictures on Facebook of kids doing collaborative things in the areas that we created, and that was really gratifying to see that.
Good.
I'm guessing that the teachers are learning how to take advantage of the new opportunities they have, right?
Yes, there's a positivity with the staff as well. This is a opportunity that many educators will never have the privilege of working in a building like this and teaching in a building like this. So there is a real excitement and energy that is throughout. The work we do is hard, but it's pretty exciting to do it together in a building like this.
That's really great to hear. Dave, do you have anything you want to add to the proceedings tonight?
Well, give me number one, Doug.
It's working.
Sorry, guys.
No problem at all.
No, it's absolutely exciting to see this vision come to fruition, and that, the work of so many has contributed to, just excellent conditions, right? We are very, very excited and looking forward to really capitalizing on the opportunity the community has provided for us.
Excellent. Joe, anything from the design team?
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
Enjoying the building.
Now we can go back to what Anjanette usually does. So Anjanette, do you want to update us on furniture deliveries, on finances, on any of the things that you usually do? You're muted. Or maybe we're muted.
Yes, we were muted.
Okay,
Now we have you.
okay, so the furniture deliveries are ongoing. At this point, it's down to a limited number of items. I can actually share with you, I don't know if I can share my screen with you and you'll be able to see it.
Yep, you should be able to.
Okay, hold on, give me 1 second and I'll be able to open up. It's Casey sends over a list weekly, and I can just share with you what's left. We did get, Kate did mention today that there was another, there was an issue with some of the adjustable tables up in the student work areas. I reached out to Casey, she's going to get on it immediately and let the manufacturer know. So they'll be out here to make the repairs just as soon as they can schedule the work. Give me 1 second, okay. So I know next Monday, hold on, let me share my screen. Next Monday, there's a big delivery of furniture, including these benches. I don't know if you guys can see the screen or not, but
Yeah, yes, we can.
it's for the entry lobby. That furniture is scheduled to be installed on the 17th, as well as some of the upholstered chairs, the teacher planning area. Some of the chairs from there will be installed as well. That's all up for next week for delivery. The media center, the missing chairs from over there. There's going to be some, the metal shelving, I think that was delivered today. And that there were some changes that were requested with the shelving that was in the kiln room. We took one out, put it in the nurse's office, and made some adjustments. That was all coordinated between Jeremy and Jason and Casey. We had a meeting, got that all sorted out. Some of the items that are on the list that are not going to be arriving for some time are related to the change order, which is the privacy panels and the mailbox sorters. These items here, we're waiting for an update from the manufacturer. We just have to get the PO, and that was the the reason for the request to transfer money from one bucket, if you will, into the furniture budget, just to cover some of these overages. So as soon as we get that PO written, we'll have an update from them as to when those items will be ready for delivery and installation. And we are meeting every Monday. We meet with Kate, we meet with Consigli and our team, and Craig's there as well, and we just discuss any of the issues that come up. The furniture issues, again, are separate, and Casey sends this update over to us weekly on Mondays as well, just for an update.
Mark Furtado joins us as well at that meeting.
Yes, yep.
And all of the orange crates have left the building, correct?
All of the orange crates have left the building. They were picked up last Friday. We are waiting for final accounting. That sometimes takes a week to 2 weeks from Rent-A-Crate, and then we'll see the final invoice from Sterling for that. We are hoping to, we're expecting to see some savings there as well. Kate was very, very helpful, and Jeremy as well is going around the building to make sure that there were none left behind. There is a charge for those that weren't returned, but I feel very confident that we will, we'll still be seeing some savings, some pretty substantial savings as well.
Excellent. Any questions on that?
And I can roll into the money if you'd like. I'm not sure if you guys can see my screen. Is it tiny?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Okay. So for the month of September, we had the Skanska invoice, and that was for $93,925. We had the Castle Booze invoice for $109,085. We had the Consigli invoices, and for the contract work, it was $4,070,380. With the change order work that was performed, including there were some credit change orders that were included this month, for a total of $4,243,992.08. That is not, there was a retainage withheld on that. That's calculated in the total up above. And then for the miscellaneous city project cost of the city, we had $1,259.50. That was for the Briggs testing, the Briggs invoice. We still continue to utilize the testing services for the flat work that's being done, when they're pouring the footings and all of that. That's got to be tested as well. The FF&E, that's the furniture invoice from Red Thread, and then there were 2 invoices from Pro AV, which is the AV IT contract. That totaled $598,938.82. What I don't have on here is the STV invoice that Jeremy added after the fact. That one will be included in next month's requisition. And then that gives us a total billed at $5,047,200.40 after retainage. It's a total of $4,846,124.66. And then if you add the STV invoice, it matches up with Jeremy's total that he has on the minutes, the latest one that he sent out. So that bills us out to 89% complete. And we are still on budget at, to date. We're exactly where we expected to be. So I don't know if anybody has any questions about the billing or any of the invoices.
Yeah, I just wanted to add 2 clarifying notes. I took some sums from a summary report, which is why I say $1,260 rather than $59.50. But we will only pay the amount on the invoice, not the rounded up amount here.
Oh my God.
Yes, correct.
And then lastly, the STV invoice we got at about 4:45 today, 4:30 today. We're amending 2 lines of their contract, keeping the amount the same, but amending which line we're paying from. So there's no reason to wait for that change order to come through. So they sent the invoice kind of last minute. You see the invoice date was today. So that's why Anjanette didn't have it. We both got it like an hour ago. So we'll wait for the new purchase order before we pay that.
So the line items, one was for labor and one was for reimbursables, and they ended up, they just carried like a random number for reimbursables, and just because of the amount of pivoting that they had to do. They ended up bringing additional people on to just sort of help to manage things, because we had to act quick when we had an opportunity to move things over. And so there was additional expenses for mileage, labeling, that sort of thing. And so that's why we just took money out of the labor budget and added it to the reimbursables. And, we're recognizing $40,000 of the savings today, but after that invoice, I think there's going to be about another 40 that's going to come back to the project as well.
We need it for change order 25.
Okay. While we're on that subject, Steve or Rachel, you always give us the allowance log. We didn't talk about that, but we're still trending correctly on the allowances?
Correct. Yep, same as always. Some things get moved around a little bit, but the overall number is still good. We're still tracking under that, just under the overall allowance number.
And one of the things that has been hanging around for months is the missing pieces for the elevator room.
Yes. So it's due to ship on the 16th. So next week. We're hoping it ships, and then as soon as it shows, we'll have it installed, and then we can call for state inspection. So probably a couple of weeks after, give us a week to install it, and then, who knows when we call the inspector, it could be another week or so before they're available.
Okay. So Anjanette and Jeremy have gone over all the bills. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All the bills are paid. I know our next meeting will be November 16th in this room. Hopefully, all the pieces will be in, so Jim will not be at a disadvantage with double ACS.
That's the third Wednesday.
That's the third Wednesday, so just remember that. The building commission will be on the 2nd as usual, so you'll have the 9th off, those of you who serve in both capacities. Does anybody have any other questions or issues they wish to bring up?
I have a suggestion I'd like to make that
Sure.
the group consider. They brought it to our attention about 2 meetings ago that the bus loop against the building was going to have a checkerboard type concrete finish. They paved it right now for the winter. I'd like to suggest that they eliminate the checkerboard concrete, which would be a savings to the city, and just leave the asphalt as it is. Put the final coat when they do it. Multiple reasons, one of them the cost, but with the concrete, over the years, with all the buses parked on it, you're gonna end up with oil stains in the middle of the vehicles, plus the salt. It's not gonna do the concrete any good. It'll eventually take out the concrete from the road salt in the wintertime. So, I think it's something to consider.
Yeah. Joe, do you have any thoughts on
I
that?
think we'd have to think about the loading capacity of the asphalt and whether is it a full roadway loaded asphalt installation, or is this a temp, single layer?
It's a temp, I forget the exact thickness that we put.
Yeah, it's just a binder.
But
Yeah. So we'll look at that. If you want us to look at that, that's fine. We can do
I think we ought to take a look at it. I understand what Jerry's saying. The staining, is going to happen.
I mean, you're still gonna have it on the asphalt, but it won't be so obvious.
Yeah.
Black on black.
Yeah.
We can look.
So,
Jerry, is it just in the bus loop?
Right?
Yeah. Look.
okay. They'll take a look at it and report back to us.
top of curb.
What's that?
We're top of curb in some locations too, so.
Already?
Yeah.
So you'd have to take it out and re-put it in.
Possibly, yeah.
Makes sense, you want to flush out where you get the flush curb.
Right.
Well, you'll give us a report at the next meeting? Okay. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Well, then a motion to adjourn is in order at 6:20.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.